Recently, the government of Kenya lifted the ban on importation and production of genetically modified organisms. This caused a lot of controversy because many people don't have full information on what are GMOs. They don't know the merits and demerits of GMOs. Let me today explain the merits and demerits of GMOs. Many people don't know, but for me, my background is in agriculture, so I'm going to give you information on what the demerits and merits of GMOs. This video is not sponsored by anybody. It's just my analysis of the advantages and disadvantages of GMOs. First of all, let me define what are GMOs, or genetically modified organisms. GMOs are organisms whose DNA has been altered so as to exhibit a certain characteristic. There are very many reasons for genetically engineering crops so as to alter their original form. First of all, GMO can be done to crops so as to improve the quality of the food. A good example is the golden rice in Asia, which has been altered so that it has more vitamin A or beta carotene. Beta carotene is a vitamin, is a component of vitamin A, which helps in sight. So this will reduce the blindness in children. Statistics show that 500 children are affected by blindness because of lack of vitamin A. So this golden rice has been genetically modified so that it can produce a rice that has a higher percentage of vitamin A. The second reason for carrying out genetically modification is to improve tolerance to or resistance to drought. The third reason is to increase the shelf life of crops. This is found, for example, in tomatoes. In USA, there is a variety of tomato that is been genetically modified so as to increase its shelf lives. Kwa hivyo ukiweka hiyo tomato kwa shelf or kwa fridge, it will stay longer. For another crop, we have the purple tomato in USA. Purple tomato has been genetically modified from the normal potato so that it has higher level of antioxidants which comes from anthocyanin. Anthocyanin ni unaona ukiona mahindi ina turn purple, so it is rich in anthocyanin or blackberry, which is purple in color. So this tomato has some anthocyanin introduced into it from a flower called snapdragon flower. Snapdragon flower has a gene that enables it to produce anthocyanin, which is an antioxidant. So that DNA or that gene from that flower has been transferred from the flower to the tomato. So the tomato is purple in color. And the fourth reason why we do genetic modification or we genetically engineer crop is to increase resistance to pests. A good example is BT maize or BT cotton. BT maize is resistant to caterpillar. BT cotton is resistant to bollworm. And we also have a potato called innate potato, which is resistant to late blight. Let me explain what BT maize is so that you can understand the idea behind BT maize. So BT is a bacteria called Bacillus Thuringiensis or BT maize. So this bacteria is found in soil. So when a caterpillar eats this bacteria, it will be affected. How is it affected? Because this bacteria produces a protein called crystal protein, which is poisonous to caterpillar. So scientists go to the bacteria, wanaendea hiyo bacteria, wana isolate that DNA that causes production of this crystal protein, which is poisonous to caterpillar. So after isolating, they take that DNA and insert it in maize. So the maize start to produce that crystal protein, which is poisonous to caterpillar. So caterpillar will not eat the maize which produces the crystal protein, which is poisonous. So the maize will not be affected by caterpillar. These stood advantages. First of all, you use less insecticide, and another thing is you will use less crops will be destroyed, so the yield will be high. For BT cotton is the same process, but this time the BT cotton is resistant to bollworm, and innate potato is resistant to late blight, the blights. The fifth reason why we do GMOs, and before I continue, we have two types of GMOs. We have red GMOs na green GMOs. Green GMOs about the food we eat. When you do GMOs on a plant, that is called green GMO. But red GMO is when you do it in the health, for example, in production of drugs. A good examples of GMO or red GMO is production of insulin. Zamani insulin ilikuwa you isolate insulin from pigs, then you use it to make drugs to treat diabetes. But this time they isolate insulin, then they genetically modify a bacteria called E. coli. So E. coli will produce insulin as a waste, lakini haitajua ni waste. So after production of insulin, the waste is the insulin. So the advantage of this is that Muslim will not resist the insulin produced using E. coli kwa sababu hawataki ya nguruwe. So those are the advantages of GMOs, or those are the explanation of GMOs. In the second part, I'll talk about the controversies on GMOs. Thank you. I'm James Mashari.